My name is Aisha, and from the outside, my life looked like something people would envy. I had a husband, Samir, calm, successful, and respected in his circle. We had been married for 4 years. The kind of marriage people described as stable. Not passionate like movies, but steady, predictable, safe. At least, that's what I believed. We lived in a modest apartment in Chicago, Illinois. Samir worked in IT, often staying late downtown, while I worked remotely as a graphic designer. We didn't fight much. We didn't laugh much either. Life had settled into routines: coffee in the morning, work calls, take-out dinners, and sleep. But I still loved him. At least I thought I did. Samir had a group of close college friends, 3 of them, Rehan, Bilal, and Hamza. I had met them several times over the years. Rehan was the loud one, always joking. Bilal was quiet but observant. Hamza was different, polite, calm, and always slightly distant, as if he never fully belonged anywhere. Whenever they visited, the apartment felt alive. For a few hours, there was laughter, old stories, football on TV, and memories from college. I used to enjoy those evenings. But lately, something had changed. Samir had started inviting them over more often. And strangely, I noticed something else too: he had become more private with his phone. More protective. More absent, even when he was sitting right in front of me. And Hamza, he had stopped looking me in the eye for too long. It was small things. Nothing obvious. Nothing I could point to. Still, I felt a strange tension growing inside me whenever Samir texted. "The guys are coming over tonight." That evening, I stared at the message longer than usual. I didn't know that night would break everything I believed about love. They arrived around 8 p.m. Samir was unusually cheerful. Rehan brought beer, Bilal carried takeout, and Hamza arrived last, quiet as always. At first, everything felt normal. Laughter filled the apartment. The TV was on in the background. Samir was the center of attention, telling stories from college. I stayed near the kitchen island, listening while pretending to clean. But I noticed something strange. Hamza barely spoke. Yet every now and then, I felt his eyes on me, not in a way that felt inappropriate, but in a way that felt heavy. Like he knew something I didn't. Later that night, Samir got a work call and stepped onto the balcony. Rehan followed him outside to smoke. Bilal went to the bathroom. And suddenly, I was alone in the living room with Hamza. The silence felt unnatural. "You've changed," Hamza said quietly. I looked up. "Changed how?" He hesitated. "You look tired. Like you're carrying something." My heart skipped. "I'm fine," I said. But even I could hear the lie in my own voice. He rubbed his hands together nervously. "I probably shouldn't say this." "Then don't," I said, standing up. But before I could walk away, he said something that made me stop. "It's not what you think, your marriage." I turned slowly. "What does that mean?" He looked away. Forget I said anything. But I couldn't. Before I could ask another question, Samir walked back in. The moment shattered instantly. But that night, something invisible had shifted. And I knew it. After that night, sleep became impossible. Hamza's words kept replaying in my head. "It's not what you think, your marriage." Samir became even more distant in the days that followed. He started coming home later. He smiled less. He avoided eye contact. And worse, he never let his phone out of sight. One night, I woke up and noticed the bed beside me was empty. I found him on the balcony, whispering into his phone. His voice was low, urgent, almost guilty. When he came back inside and saw me standing there, something flashed across his face. Fear. Who were you talking to? I asked. No one important, he said too quickly. Too quickly. Days passed in silence. We moved around each other like strangers sharing rent. Then it happened. One evening, Samir rushed out after getting a call from work. He left his laptop open. A message popped up on the screen. From Hamza. My hands went cold as I read it. You need to tell her the truth. This is getting worse. Truth. My chest tightened. I stared at the words until they blurred. That night, when Samir came home, I was waiting. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just asked. Are you hiding something from me? He stopped walking. For the first time in years, Samir couldn't look me in the eye. Aisha. That was all he said. But the silence after that said everything. My world didn't break loudly. It broke quietly. Like glass cracking under pressure. The truth came out the next morning. Samir sat across from me at our small kitchen table, looking exhausted. There's something I should have told you a long time ago, he said. I didn't move. Before we got married, Hamza and I got involved in something. A bad financial decision. A loan. A debt. We thought we could fix it. My throat tightened. But recently, it came back. Worse than before. Calls. Threats. Pressure. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you dragged into it. I stared at him. Then why was Hamza telling you to tell me the truth? Samir swallowed hard. Because he thought I was losing myself. He thought keeping it from you was destroying us. There was no affair. No secret woman. No physical betrayal. But somehow, that almost hurt more.
Because while I was sharing a home with him, he had been sharing his fear, his panic, and his emotional life with someone else.
And leaving me outside of it. That was the betrayal. Not another lover. Just silence. I asked him only one thing. Where was I in all of this? He opened his mouth. Then closed it. He had no answer. A week later, I packed a suitcase and left. I went to stay with my sister in Naperville, just outside Chicago. Not because I stopped loving him overnight. But because I finally understood something painful. Love doesn't survive secrecy. It survives honesty. Weeks turned into months. Samir called. Texted. Apologized. Hamza disappeared from both our lives. And me. I healed slowly. There were mornings when I still reached for the other side of the bed. Nights when I missed the sound of his keys at the door. But little by little, I began to feel like myself again. One cold evening, I stood by the window at my sister's house, watching snow fall under the streetlights. And for the first time in months, I felt calm. That's when I understood something I wish I had known sooner. Sometimes betrayal doesn't come in the shape of another woman. Sometimes it comes as silence. As distance. As truths buried so deep they rot everything around them. And sometimes walking away isn't the end of love. Sometimes it's the beginning of self-respect.